Hello, my friend. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. And today I'm in Luminar Neo. I'm going to be working on a landscape photo. And in particular, I want to talk about a mistake that I often see when people are using the color tools in Luminar Neo, because if you've used Luminar for any length of time, you know there are a lot of color tools in Luminar Neo. And they're great. I love them. It's one of the things I like most about Luminar is it gives you so many options for color. That can also be confusing. But perhaps even worse, it can cause your photo to kind of get overcooked and to kind of overdo it without really realizing that you're overdo it. Because if you think about it, there are different ways to change and adjust color, right? You've got the basic stuff like color, which is HSL, you got golden hour, you've got color harmony, you've got toning, but then you also got Accent AI that does some color. You've got twilight enhancer, you got water enhancer. There's so many ways to do it. In this video, I'm going to walk through, kind of show what I consider the biggest mistakes in color editing, and of course, how I go about doing that. And we're going to work on this photo. Now, I've already made some adjustments here, as you can see, before and after, right? Before and after. You can see what I did. Slight contrast, highlights, and shadow adjustment. That's about it. Nothing in blacks and whites. And I haven't done anything with temperature or tint yet, but I'm about to. And that's the first thing to be aware of, is that is effectively a color adjustment. Because this is a sunset, hey, guess what? I want to warm it up, make it a little bit more golden, if you will. And temperature adjustment is a great way to do that. So I'm going to slide this slightly to the right. And I don't go very far, something about like that. And I'm also going to take the tint slightly to the right. And this is pretty minor, and this is really a personal preference. I kind of like a little bit of that magenta in my sunsets. I think it does a nice job of kind of balancing out some of the warmer golden tones with a little bit of that magenta. But overall, before, after, very minor color adjustment, but it's one to be aware of, because if you go too far early on, I think you run the risk of oversaturating your photo. Now, speaking of oversaturating your photo, there's also saturation and vibrance right here in Develop Raw. I rarely use them. In fact, I would go so far as to say I never use the saturation slider, and I once in a while will use vibrance, but if I do use vibrance, 5, maybe 10 at the tops, but very, very minor. In this video, I'm not going to do it at all. I'm going to stop there. So before and after, and I think we're in good shape. Now, I'm not going to go through every move that I would make. This isn't a full end-to-end edit, so I'm going to jump straight to structure, and I'm going to do a -35, and I'm going to kind of slap that across the entire photo. In other words, it's a global adjustment, no masking, but that's because, again, with sunset type photos, especially a nice calm scene like this, I sometimes like to add that to the mood to soften everything up. I just like the look. It's personal preference, as is, of course, I guess everything that I do with my photos, but before and after, that's where we are. Pretty minor light adjustments in Develop Raw, and of course, a negative structure adjustment across the entire photo. Now, we're going to jump into color. Now, if you haven't yet got my free Luminar Neo editing guide, it's available for anyone that subscribes to my newsletter. There's a link down below. It's like 28 pages of tips and tricks and insights, including some details about what I do with color, as well as masking. You may want to check that out if you haven't yet. Again, it's free, and it's at the link down below. So, lots of color tools in Luminar, and for me, the biggest mistake that I find is that you use too many tools and you don't mask these tools, because the combination of lots of tools and no masking really quickly leads to an oversaturated image. But if you use fewer tools and mask, you get better control, and that's what we're going to be doing here. So I'm going to start with the landscape category and go into golden hour, and I'm going to go to 25, and in this case, I'm not using a mask, and let me explain to you why. If you look at the photo before, you can see where the warmer tones are. They're pretty much up here in these clouds, kind of the warmer parts of the photo, or of course where the sun is hitting the light in the sky, also that reflection, and some across these icebergs. So if you look at before and after, and before, there's a lot of warm tones where I want them to be, and not in the other parts of the photo. So even without accentuating these golden tones, which is what golden hour does, it accentuates the existing golden tones. I've already got the gold where I want it. I just want a little bit more of it. So I didn't mask it, but I am being selective, because if it was a sunset that had golden tones across the entire sky, reflected across the entire foreground, that would be more of a problem and would be better off with a mask. But in this case, the golden tones are kind of isolated to the clouds, and they're kind of that left side of the image and its reflection. So it's already kind of selective. I didn't really feel like I need a mask here. So before and after, nice little pop of warm tones in the right places, and I didn't need to use a mask. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't use a mask. Every image is going to be different, but because these are already kind of isolated, and I've already got a lot of blue over on this right side as well as in the water, so I feel like I've got a nice balance of warm and cool tones. And if you've been here before, you hear me talk about the warm and cool tones, kind of the interplay between the yellow and blue, which are complementary, or the warm and cool, which are complementary, creates this nice balance. But it also is kind of what I call color tension, where the warm and the cool are playing off of each other, and I just think it looks nice. So no need to mask in this case, but it is something to be aware of that you may want to do in your own photos. Now the next tool I want to use is toning, and I love toning. One of the first color tools I ever started using in my editing ever, and we're talking about years and years and years ago, was toning. And it's because it's super powerful and it's really cool, but also it's very selective. Again, I'm talking about control here and using masks, but I'm not going to use a mask here because you don't really need to most of the time with toning because it separates the highlights from the shadows. In this case, the warmer stuff is in the highlights. What I want to do is just drag the saturation slightly to the right, so not a lot. And that's a key thing here on a lot of the color adjustments. I see people dragging the saturation sliders either in toning or in golden hour or saturation in color HSL or even in Develop Raw, dragging it pretty far to get a lot of pop in that photo, a lot of color. But you got to be gentle, especially if you use multiple tools, because if you go heavy-handed with lots of tools, you'll quickly go over the top. So this is a pretty light adjustment, and you don't need a mask because, again, this already is kind of masked for you. And what I mean by that is it separates highlights from shadows. Shadows, we're at 0. We're going to stay there. I'm not making any color adjustments there. But in highlights, I'm going to do a 15. But the other thing that allows me to really control this is these two other sliders, amount and balance. Amount is, and it defaults to 50. So you're getting like a 50% in this highlight adjustment. If I go to 100, you can see I'm getting more of that color into the highlights. But I leave it at the default of 50. It's a lot more tame implementation of the color. I think that looks great. But also the balance slider comes into play. If I drag the balance to the left, I'm going to get 0 of that color, and that's because the left is shadows. So what I'm saying with the balance slider is, hey, focus whatever color adjustments I've made here 100% on the shadows because I'm all the way to the left in the shadows. Conversely, if I go all the way to the right, I say put all your emphasis, all the balance towards what I did in the highlights, which I only did highlights here. And so that's putting more emphasis on that. And I'm going to leave the balance in the middle. So again, I'm saying ride the fence, if you will, on the balance, and also kind of ride the fence on the amount. So these two kind of governors allow me to get a nice little pop of saturation selectively just in the highlights, because that's where I am, without going over the top. So again, I didn't mask this tool, but it gave me a lot of control because I didn't use the amount or the balance slider. I left it at the defaults, which are kind of right down the middle, kind of subtle, for lack of a better term. So before and after, right? Before and after, nice little pop of warmth just in the highlights without going over the top. Okay, and now the granddaddy color tool of all, and my favorite, and you've been here before, you know that, and that is color harmony. One of the things to be careful about here is you've got 4 color tools in this one tool. I don't use color contrast a lot, and I won't need it in this video, but I use brilliance and warmth, I use split color warmth, and I use color balance a lot because these 3, they're probably my 3 favorite color tools in Luminar Neo. And of course, color harmony overall is the most powerful and probably my favorite. But again, you got to be gentle because this is 3 tools and I've already used 2 prior to this, right? Which was, of course, golden hour and toning. So again, you got to be careful, and I'm going to go low amounts, but I'm also going to show you a trick that works really well. So I'm going to say like a 5 and a 5 on brilliance and warmth. We're currently applying this globally, but we're going to fix that, and we're going to use a mask here. Brilliance is kind of like intensity or vibrance, and warmth, of course, is temperature. So I'm making it a little bit warmer, which I did in Develop Raw, getting a little bit more here, and brilliance is saying, hey, pop that a little bit. Split color warmth, I'm going to take that warmth to the right just a little bit, so like a 5, and that's saying take the warm colors and make them a little bit warmer. That kind of complements and overlaps with what I did in golden hour, and this is why you got to be careful because these tools are doing kind of different things, but they overlap and do kind of similar things. This warmth here in split color warmth, making the warm colors warmer, kind of a little bit like what I did in golden hour. So you got to be careful. That's what I'm talking about. And then here in color balance, I'm going to skip the shadows, but in midtones, I'm going to add some red, and I'm going to go to about a 10, and I'm going to go to like a -2 or so a magenta. Now this is a sunset, and you might say, why are you playing with the midtones, Jim? And it's because I want to show you one of the things I look at here, color balance, it separates the color area or color itself and the way you can apply it into the 3 different tonal areas, shadows, midtones, and highlights. Well, how do you know how much midtones there are in a photo or how much highlights there are in a photo? Well, I go and look at this histogram, right? That's a visual representation of the distribution of light in the image. So if you look here, the midtones are the center of the photo. There's a lot of stuff in the midtones. So any color adjustments I make here, if I go more and more and more, you're going to get a really intense amount of color. And that's because if you look at the histogram, you can see there's a whole lot of midtones in this image. So that's something to keep in mind as you're making the adjustments here in color balance, that you want to look at the histogram and make note of where that distribution of light is, because that's going to help you understand how big of a color impact you're going to have on your image. Right? I'm also going to go into highlights and do something similar. I'm going to do like a 10 or so here in highlights on the red, again, making the highlights warmer. Same thing I did with midtones. And the magenta, I'm going to do a little bit further, like a -5 or -6. And that's, not as many highlights, but you're starting to see a lot of color. And perhaps importantly, if you look here, the color is kind of bleeding. It looks kind of funny. If you look at the before, right? Before and after, there's a lot of color in the sky, but like right around the fringes or the edges of these clouds, it just looks kind of weird. And so I don't like that. And so this is where I like to come in and use a mask. Now, I'm a big fan of masks. I talk about that in the free ebook that you can get at the link below that I already mentioned. And for me, my favorite mask, of course, is the luminosity mask, and that's what we're going to do in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and open the luminosity mask and go ahead and get started with that. Now, this represents the distribution of light in the photo. Hey, where did I hear that before? Yeah, histogram, right? This represents the distribution of light just like the histogram does. And if you want to have a chunk of this color color harmony, all those tools that we just applied across the entire image, if you want to hit a large part of the photo, well, most of the light is in the midtones, right? So you can go take your histogram and focus it on the midtones. Now, the midtones are going to be the middle of this bar. If I go to the left, that's the shadows. If I go to the right, that's the highlights. But I want to stay in the midtones. You can make this zone bigger or smaller, right? I'm going to focus on kind of a smaller area, maybe something about like that. But of course, if you've been here before, you can grab these triangles. And what you do is this allows you to fade the edge or feather the edge of the mask so that it more smoothly blends your edits into the rest of the photo, right? So you want the stuff that's getting this color harmony, all these adjustments, you want that to be, it'll be applied 100% in this tiny little tonal area here, which is heavy on the midtones, and it'll fade into the shadows and fade into the highlights. And I'm going to fade it a little bit more to the highlights, something like that, and maybe a little bit less into the shadows. Maybe collapse that zone a little bit. And then you can also grab this and move it around to see kind of what it looks. And I'm paying particular attention to this area that I pointed out a minute ago, because that's where the edits were coming in and kind of creating that color fringe on this cloud and making it look kind of weird. And I don't want a lot of stuff on that cloud because that's heavy in the highlights. If I go more like that, I'm going to get more of it. It's a nice gentle fade, but I don't think I want a lot of that. Also, if I drag this entire thing that direction, I get more that way because I'm taking the entire mask and kind of shifting it to the right toward the brighter spots. But I think I want to focus more in the midtones and have that nice generous fade. And honestly, every luminosity mask is different. Of course, every photo is different. And so I just tend to play with these a little bit until I get what I think is going to work. And then I say, okay, I'm done. And I go look at click back in the adjustments tab, and now you can see I've got the adjustment. You don't have that weird fringing around these clouds. And if you look at the before and after, right? Before and after, a lot more gentle implementation of the color. But I want to point out something. I don't really like the color. The magenta is a little too heavy. So this is where I would come back now that I've got a mask in place that I know covers the tonal areas that I want to focus on, I'm going to pull back some of that magenta. It feels a little too much. And I'm going to go into midtones and pull that back as well. And what I may do is come into split color warmth and take those warm colors, give them a little bit more warmth. So I was at like 5, now I'm at 22. And so this is where, like, you're never done editing, I guess, is the short way of saying it. But I want to come back and adjust my adjustments after making the mask, because what I thought was going to work didn't really work. The mask is fine. It fits the area perfectly, I think, and covers the tonal zones that I want to cover quite well. But the colors didn't look right. So this is where I just come back and I experiment by moving these sliders. And I think by pulling the magenta out of the midtones and highlights down here in color balance and adding a little bit more warmth here in split color warmth has given me that nice balance. I still have a little bit of that kind of pinkish type color in those clouds, but I think it looks good with the warmth. And if I wanted to go a little warmer, I could. Again, the mask is in place, so you got a nice generous fade. Just play around with it, experiment, and see how it works on your photo. But if you look at the before and the after, right? The before and the after, I might even take that brilliance back down to 0. I don't really need it, I think. So before and after, that is using multiple tools and being selective, even though with toning, I didn't mask it, but because I focused on the highlights and the amount and balance I kept in the middle, I was kind of selective with that. With golden hour, I didn't need to use a mask. I didn't need to be selective because golden hour only hits the warm tones that already exist. It was really just picking up in the sky and the reflection and a little bit on these icebergs. So that was kind of being selective because, in other words, there's so much blue. I didn't need to mask it. And then, of course, the luminosity mask here in color harmony. So I did use multiple tools, which I think you need to be careful with, but I was selective about it. And that gives me the overall finished color look on this photo before and after, right? Before and after. Nice, warm, beautiful color, I think. Nice, warm sunset that gives you that nice kind of dreamy feel without being over the top, because I controlled color and I used tools selectively or used tools that were selective for me. And it makes all the difference in the world. Before, after. Hope that gives you some ideas, my friends. Appreciate you hanging out. Check out that ebook that I mentioned if you want to learn more about Luminar Neo editing. And I'll be back soon with more videos. You guys take care. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. And until then, adios.